Want to hear something scary? Spirits are swirling in the SiriusXM app with creepy Halloween treats. Drift into the dark with Scream Radio. Here's Johnny. Or ride with the devil into Nitro's Halloween Headbangers. Find even more monstrous fun right now on the SiriusXM app. Just search Halloween.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Hey, it's Grace Sharkey, and I host Freightways Drive Time weekdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And are you wondering what's powering inflation? Well, we take you to the roots of our economy, the transportation and supply chain sector, to answer those questions. Guests including trucking company owners, freight tech entrepreneurs, and world economists join me to educate you on the industry bringing your favorite goods to your doorstep. Join our conversations on Road Dog Trucking Channel 146.
To hear Freightways Radio with Grace Sharkey, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
This is my meal. I call this Girl Dinner. All the viral songs from TikTok's For You page. All on one SiriusXM channel.
That get to my head. I don't care. I paint the town red.
Presented by creators like me.
On TikTok Radio.
TikTok Radio.
Listen now on Channel 4 and the SiriusXM app.
Imagine a long road trip where the designated DJ isn't forced to flip from station to station, avoiding commercials and trying desperately to find a signal. Where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to SiriusXM and your music stays with you, whether you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.
Check out Kevin Hart's exclusive SiriusXM show.
The name of the show is They May Have.
Wait a second, Straight from the heart. Straight from the heart with Kevin Hart. To hear Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
There you go now.
I think every...
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think every...
Oh, let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148868.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlie of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who run the universe, and that would include YouTube. I want to say what a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm always trying to bring the neighborhood together, but as I've learned the hard way, some people don't like coming together with their neighbors when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But you don't have to worry about what time it is. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. You can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Spreaker Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Good Pods Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast. You can find us on Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Pod Big, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Podcast in Public, and then one that used to scare me but now it doesn't. It's called AllFees.ai. Give the robots some praise because the robots are taking over. But I have a way to turn them off. You don't want to turn somebody off. Well, it's an oxymoron. If you want to turn somebody on, you do what Teddy Pendergrass says. He said, turn them off. Well, Big C, I thought you said you had the real Teddy on today. Well, no, you can't get the real Teddy on right now. You got to listen to Teddy C, if that makes sense. Give Teddy C some praise. He said, turn on the lights, come and light a candle. You see, there's something I've been wanting to do to you, baby. He said, turn them off. But obviously, Teddy had a way with words. It was his voice that did it. It wouldn't work with Michael Jackson. Turn off the lights and light a candle. Turn them off. You know, it doesn't work with Michael Jackson. All's fair in love and war. What does work on this beautiful October 25th, 2023, is the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues? Pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I need somebody to lean on, if that makes sense to you. You ever have a flat tire? And somebody comes to the rescue in the universe. Sings praise, all stand number one. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. I believe in shining light all over the world. And that's what I want to do at Big C Sports. Oh, there you go again, Big C, talking about shining light all over the world. Well, I'm going to do my best, but sometimes my alter ego, he likes to get into the show without being invited. But I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. And then I'm telling you, the commercials are done. The stats are provided. You even hear the storytelling that I do myself, and then you hear the play-by-play that you heard last night. Runners on first and third. The count for the pitch. Curveball. Swung on. Hit deep. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little Riz. I love saying the girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep. We have the World Series set for 2023. I want to give some praise to those good boys from Arizona. The Diamondbacks are in the World Series. And also the good boys from Texas. The Texas Rangers are in the World Series. You know what a Ranger does when he sees a snake? He said, "Me like this strike." However, you know what a snake says when he sees a Ranger? He says, "Me like this strike." They're all trying to strike each other, give back at each other some praise. As long as you don't like me, if that makes sense to you, then the show's uploaded to 29 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Dimno Hills, California. And then I'm telling you, it also goes out to 4 TV podcast platforms, streaming, OTT, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Give that some praise. But you got to have a smart TV. If you don't have a smart TV, then you don't want your TV to feel like it has a complex. If it's not a smart TV, then it won't listen to you even when you turn the TV off. I was hearing yesterday, and I don't know if it's true or not. I can't confirm or deny, but there's some phones, and they call them phones, smartphones. And some people say the smartphones, they never go to sleep, that they're always talking, they're always listening, and that means that no matter what you do, you think you're doing it in private, somebody's listening with those smartphones. Give smartphones some praise. We all got to have some praise when it comes to electronic devices. That's why when somebody does something wrong, when law enforcement comes in, they go right for the phone and the computers. You got to give them some praise because they're always listening, if that makes sense to you. I want to do what I always do on my show, and I'm trying to get in things that sometimes are a little bit different. But I want to pay homage to my beautiful family legacy on this rainy day in Dimno Hills, California. I love giving praise to my beautiful mother on my mama's side. My great grandmother called her mama, a beautiful, loving, kind person. Always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. And then my wonderful grandfather great-grandfather called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. He was saying, "Boys, get out of that barn now." He was always growing something that we could drink and fall asleep from, but it wasn't legal based on what I understand. Really do appreciate Pop, the real MacGyver, can fix anything, planes, trains, and automobiles. And then my beautiful grandmother, Mud Deer, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family, lots of food in the belly. She was a seer. Nowadays they call them psychics. She can oftentimes look at a person and tell you about their past, their present, and their future. She still helps me to this day. Really do appreciate her. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another one of a person, a seer, can oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys and Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. The best person I've ever met in my life, always trying to help other people. And at the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Church cooking. And at a restaurant, everybody wanted Mrs. Church cooking. It's at home that she says, "Son, how many plates have you had?" I say, "Plates are baby crap to what I'm looking for, Mama. I'm looking for my reparations." And then I'd have to go to my room and try to find my reparations. And that's a praise. I was looking. We got to change that if that makes sense to you. I'm still looking. I want to say I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. The best person I ever met in my life. On my father's side, my beautiful grandfather, Albert Curry, he was a pastor. He owned 3 churches, 2 in Oakland, 1 in Central California. He also owned 2 gas stations, one on Bancroft, the other on Foothill in Oakland. But what I'm most proud of, he owned 40 acres of land, like the Emancipation Proclamation, when President Abraham Lincoln promised every free black person 40 acres and a mule, because black soldiers helped the Union win the Civil War. in defeating the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. And at the same time, really do appreciate that. My daddy owned the 40 acres of land. My beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland, the 3rd one in Central California, and then running the 2 gas stations in Oakland. I remember 8 years old, I was walking down the back 9. I was walking down a hallway, and I was trying to get me some more cookies, and I felt someone touch me in my forehead. She said, "What are you doing, young man, going to get some more cookies?" I said, "What are you doing up, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. And she said, "Are you going to get some more cookies, young man?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to me, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And she said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." I'll never forget that. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And now you can hear me screaming on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. In 4 TV platforms. It's expanding also. Man, there's a lot of great things coming to Big C Sports. And I just so appreciative of the things that are happening in the world of Big C Sports. I want to tell you, there's times when you just realize that people are on your side and God keeps bringing more favor into your life. I want to give that some praise. I also want to say, I want to thank my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot's chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. And then always saying, develop your mind to its highest extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then in the Air Force, my father's roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr. He played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. I keep asking Denzel, do you want to have a cameo appearance in the Reparations movie featuring Big C Sports? And Denzel Washington, in the title of the movie is Reparations Now, Reparations Forever, featuring Denzel Washington and Big C. I'm not waiting for Hollywood to stand up now. I'm going to be the lead actor, if that makes sense to you. They can always be in a cameo role. But I also want to thank my beautiful father, just one of the best people I've ever known in my life. And then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd is speak. Always saying go forward, a voracious reader, love talking about sports and politics. And then I love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Daisy set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. It's amazing because we went on from there to also, she would help me set up. And when we did the first interview, it was a football player. And we went on from there to become the first time in the history of the United States that Salem Media started broadcasting NFL Monday Night Football. And you can get some praise on the Wall Street Business Network. It had never happened before. Like a lot of things now that Big C Sports are doing have not happened before. And then I want to say Daisy would also help me set up, and college coaches came to the West Coast to do work with Big C Sports. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you. You can be anything you want. Love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College graduate. He's actually graduate. He's a senior, graduating in this summer, senior season and senior year in college. Just very smart, erudite, a good man. Really do appreciate you, Malcolm. Malcolm actually helped me save trees. I used to always get trees in newspapers to look up the stats for the Big C Sports podcast. And one day Malcolm said, "Dad," he said, "why don't you just Google it?" And a light bulb went off. And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms. And actually, there's more than that, but there's 2 I haven't really agreed on yet. And then 4 TV platforms streaming: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Now, one day Malcolm said, "Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, 'Play Big C Sports.' You'll see a show come up." That's before it was even on the air. My family has a history of saying things before they come true. And then I say, I want $6 billion. But it's amazing how Malcolm said that, and then shortly after that, I can see the show on television. Give speaking things into existence and praise. It's not folklore, it's real. Like $6 billion is coming, I can feel it. At the same time, Malcolm, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. And then I want to say thanks to the Big C with all that wealth and knowledge over the years. And the great granddaddy coming out of that barn always saying you got to believe You gotta believe, you gotta believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love to say welcome to the show. It's been nominated. This is the podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3D teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. I have no runners. I have no directors. And I have no collard greens because I ate them all last night. I gotta get me some more collard greens. That's where my energy comes from. When you hear is Popeye the Sailor Man, and he ate spinach, well, I eat the collard green because they all say, give collard greens some praise. In fact, I'm gonna join the collard green eating society. If you don't eat collard greens, you're not getting in. If you eat collard greens, then we waive your membership. If that makes sense to you. Oh Lord, I heard a joke today. It's a joke, so don't get upset. I heard a joke where someone said that they're gonna start drafting into the military. I gotta be careful because a lot of things I say come true. And someone said, if you just eliminate my college debt, I'll join now. Give joining now some praise, or give eliminating college debt some praise. I want to thank the Associated Press, Jamie Hard, and she interviewed Big C Sports. It was back on March 29, 2023. She interviewed me about reparations. And she also talked about President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris in the article, as well as California Governor Gavin Newsom. And she called me. I said, how'd you get my number? She said, we have our ways. I said, how can I help you? She said, I want to talk to you about reparations. And she said, what are your thoughts on reparations? I said, but why'd you call me? She said, I heard you speak. That's what she said. And about reparations. I'm a sports show. People say, you could have fooled me, Curry. You always talking politics. Well, I can do both. I can chew out of both sides of my brain. I don't know if that makes any sense. I can chew out of both sides of my body. I don't know if that makes any sense either, but you know what I'm saying. At the same time, when I think about some of the great things that have happened in life, she said, what are your thoughts on reparations? I said, the same as President Abraham Lincoln. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. And give that some praise. You got this coming to do this. Really do appreciate that. I want to also just thank a lot of good people along the way that have still opened doors and sent me information for Big C Sports to elucidate the matter, if that makes sense to you. I want to personally thank the California Reparations Task Force because they too were mandated by California Governor Gavin Newsom to come up with solutions. There's an 1,100-page report for solutions with reparations. All I say is do what our Jewish brethren did. They got reparations now, and they're getting reparations forever. So the Holocaust survivors, I'm telling you, I give them praise. They deserve it. And descendants of chattel slavery deserve it too. I want to thank the Reparations Task Force, and I want to go, because I spoke with all of them and took pictures with many of them. I want to thank the chair. Her name is Camila Moore. She's the chair of the California Reparations Task Force. Give her some praise. She's an attorney that focuses on reparative justice. I want to thank Dr. Amos C. Brown, Vice Chair. I want to give him some praise. They're all brilliant. And then I want to thank California Senator Stephen Bradford. We'll have a meeting coming up with him very soon. He's the #1 senator in the United States, also responsible for name, image, and likeness. And he also helped college students get paid for their name, image, and likeness. He's also trying to champion reparations. I want to give him praise because he's brilliant. I want to thank Council Member Monica Montgomery Stebbins. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I want to give her some praise. I want to thank Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. And also Attorney Dallo K. Tamaki. I want to thank him. He's also part of the California Reparations Task Force. Give them all some praise. They like this right if we don't get reparations. And as I say, reparations now, reparations forever. It's coming. I haven't talked about this in some time, but if you Google Survivors Today Act of 2017, you can see what the California Reparations Task Force, they're all about, mandated by California Governor Gavin Newsom. The Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017 is United States legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist governments. You got to give that some praise because we want the same thing for the descendants of chattel slavery. You can't say it's not real. I just told you what Congress is doing right now. They're making sure the Holocaust heirs and survivors are still getting paid. And for Black Americans, they're making us still have these task force meetings. But I'm telling you, it's time to pass it now. I'm hearing no reparation, no good. All that sucking and jiving is over. I want to thank The Source with Caitlin Collins on This Is CNN. Weeknights, 9 p.m. East Coast time. Before sponsoring Big C Sports, give them some praise. I also want to thank the PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. Give them some praise. I want $6 million. I want to also thank Double O. She's the National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. Okay, she's on the payout committee. And she sent me this article called Executive Order 13985. You can Google it. It's on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's called the White House. She sent that article. So for people that aren't aware of it, it was President Biden's first official order, executive order, when he got into office, if that makes sense to you. Also, I mentioned Senator Marco Rubio and also Rick Scott of Florida. They're trying to make sure that descendants of Holocaust are still getting their Holocaust payments, if that makes sense to you. It's called the Colleagues Reintroduced the Bill to Restore Holocaust Survivors' Rights. If they can do it, then it's time for descendants of child slavery. I also want to say thank you to Georgetown University because they've pledged over $1 billion to just 272 descendants of child slavery. Give that some praise. They didn't wait for any more committees. They just did it. And you will hear about college basketball starting up soon. And when you hear about Georgetown or those other networks that are less than they could be, they won't even talk about reparations. All they want to talk about is touchdown, Holman, 3-point play, oh man Willie, he's going all the way. But right in their own backyard of Washington, D.C., Georgetown University pledging over $1 billion. I know it's not as much as Ukraine got, but that's a lot of money. And I believe it's time for us to, I just feel great that what I'm doing with my platform with Big C Sports, and I had the chance and the honor to interview a gentleman running for the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mr. Uwenge. And I'm telling you, everybody has their own thoughts about who's going to win a presidential candidate or a nomination, but I hope that he wins. I want to give him some praise also because he came on Big C Sports and talked about what he wants to do, bringing the Congo involved with trade throughout the entire world, and I want to see that happen too. And he came on Big C Sports. And at the same time, there's so much out there. I want to thank Double O again. She's part of the National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me this article on the National Black Wall Street, and it's about the strong leadership and political will is crucial to ensure reparatory justice for the people of African descent. That came out of the United Nations, and that was sent to me by Double O. Really do appreciate it. And then I want to say thank you for T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, and the proud sponsors of Big C Sports. Everybody has their own thoughts about what to do in life and how to make things better. But I want to take my time to bring something up because the talk of reparations is right now in Congress. I know it's not televised. The revolution would not be televised. They're not making it largely televised, just like they don't make payments for Jewish descendants of Holocaust largely televised. You got to read it. And a lot of people don't read anymore because they're so busy watching games. But there's an article that should the United States government pay reparations for slavery and its legacy. How do you, out of one breath, you say we're going to make sure that the Holocaust heirs and survivors are taken care of through reparations, and Hitler was only in power from 1933 to 1945, and then slavery lasted from 1619 to 1865. And why was there even any doubt that descendants of child slavery should get paid? And that's why I say reparations now, reparations forever. But it's part of society. You gotta focus on it. The bill was introduced in the House and the Senate would create a commission to address the fundamental injustice, cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery in the United States. I'm talking about these United States and the 13 American colonies between 1619 and 1865, and the racial and economic discrimination against Black Americans that followed. And such a bill in the commission, it says that they want to consider a proposal for reparations. Give that some praise. It's about to happen as we are breathing. I know a lot of people just love drunk and who's going to win the game. And among some of the prominent Democrats who have co-sponsored the reparations bill, Senator Elizabeth Warren and Chris Von Hollen, and then Representative Lloyd Doggett. And I appreciate that. Give them praise because it's about time that it happens now, and we got to get down to the bottom line and make sure it happens. And speaking of getting down to the bottom line, if you think about baseball, is anyone really excited outside of Arizona and outside of Texas, I guess Arlington area, who's excited to see the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers in the World Series? I guess only the fans are from those cities. I thought Houston would have gotten through. I thought Philadelphia would have knocked out Arizona last night, but that did not happen. So the 2023 Major League Baseball, I mean, it's already here. It's tough when they got to compete against football. And then basketball also off the mat. If that makes sense to you, I would just say they're tipping off. Because if you like the Texas Rangers, they were in the abyss just a few years ago. And now they've turned things around. And now they made themselves a contender to win the World Series, the ALCS champions. Isn't that something how things can change really just overnight? And they made it happen. And I want to give them praise for doing that. And then also, when you look at their opponent coming to the World Series, Arizona Diamondbacks, it's been a minute since they've been there, over a decade, but now they're back, and they come out of the National League West. And then everybody has their own thoughts about who they want to see in the playoffs. Will TV ratings be down? Maybe slightly, because in Texas, that's Cowboy territory. They love the Dallas Cowboys. And then, if you're in Arizona was selling tickets in the outfield for $15. And in Philadelphia, they had tickets going for $300 in the nosebleeds. So is Arizona really caring about their team being in the World Series? I would hope so. You would think so. But when you look at the World Series, it's going to air on Fox Sports, all games on Fox Sports, and FS1 will be streamed on Fubo TV. And that's part of the way that they're trying to do it this year. So, again, congratulations to the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Rangers, they punched their ticket to the 2023 World Series on Monday. They beat defending champion Houston, the Astros, in the ALCS. That was a Game 7. And then one day later, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they marked their own path with a win over the Philadelphia Phillies that a lot of people thought Philadelphia was going to get that series. So the Diamondbacks won the World Series in 2001, the only time they made it to the Fall Classic, and the Rangers, meanwhile, are still looking for their first trophy despite making it in 2010 and 2011. With the Astros lost all 4 of the top seeds, and these playoffs have been eliminated. The 104-win Braves, the 101-win Orioles, and the 100-win Dodgers were all sent home in the LDS and combining to go 1-9 in the playoffs. So the AL Central champion Minnesota Twins, they were also ousted by the ALDS, and the Marlins, the Brewers, Blue Jays, and the Rays were bounced in the wild card series. All friend level work. So now give that some praise. And now, fighting out of Texas. The World Series starts Friday, October 27th at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, and a World Series Game 7 would also take place on Saturday. And if you want to see Houston, we have a problem because they got knocked out. They were defending champions, but they got knocked out, and now you just got to give praise to the Texas Rangers and also the Arizona Diamondbacks. I want to give them praise. They earned it, even though they may not be a fan favorite. So the Friday's playoff schedule, World Series Game 1, Rangers versus Diamondbacks at 8:30. It's actually 8:03 p.m. start Eastern Time on Fox Sports, and you gotta get there early if you want to get a ticket down in Texas. And look at the complete schedule for the World Series as it airs on Fox. All games on Fox and Fox Sports 1 will be streaming on Fubo TV, if that makes sense to you. Friday, October 27th is Game 1. Rangers at Diamondbacks, 8:03 p.m. East Coast time start on Fox. Saturday, October 28th, World Series Game 2, the Rangers versus the Diamondbacks at 8:03 p.m. first pitch East Coast time on Fox Sports. And then Monday, October 30th, World Series Game 3, the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers at 8:03 p.m. East Coast time start on Fox Sports. And then Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween, the World Series Game 4, the Diamondbacks versus Rangers, 8:03 p.m. East Coast time start on Fox Sports. If they need another game, if that makes sense to you. But I believe if they go to 5 games, it's Wednesday, November 1st. Diamondbacks versus Rangers, 8:03 p.m. Eastern time on Fox. If there's a game, everybody has their own opinion about who's going to win this thing. How do you go against the Rangers right now? They were so hot throughout the season. Arizona, they got a little bit lucky and coming around the back nine and making some noise. But I'm still going with the good old boys that I think have the better chance to get it, and that's the good old boys down in Texas and the great Bruce Bochy going for his 4th World Series championship, if that makes sense to you. Everybody has their own feelings about who's going to win what and who's not going to win. But I tell you one thing that I know for sure. People say the Phillies blew the NLCS. They were up 2-0 and 3-2 in NLCS over the Diamondbacks. But they didn't blow it because it's the first one to 4. First one to 4 wins, not the first one to 2 wins. So, you just got to give congratulations. Dusty Baker, the great skipper, he didn't want to confuse anybody. They said he's mulling retirement and has told a lot of the players that he may decide to step down. Dusty's, I think, 74 years old now. He's a lifer with baseball. And we all know he grew up in Northern California, went to Del Campo High School. He also played at American River College in Northern California, Sacramento area. And then he won a world championship with the Dodgers. He also, as a player, and then won a world championship as a manager with the Houston Astros last year. Also been in many championship games with the San Francisco Giants when he did his thing, Chicago Cubs, Cincinnati Reds, and now doing his thing down in Texas. No matter what Dusty does, I wish Dusty the very best. But when I think about Dusty Baker, he also has a wine label here in Northern California. But as Houston Astros manager, the great Dusty Baker, I have a lot of respect for Dusty Baker, and he's told people inside and outside of the organization that 2023 would be his final season with the club. And neither Baker nor the Astros have publicly announced it, that it would be his last and final season. Houston lost Game 7 of the ALCS on Monday night, ending the team's shot at winning back-to-back World Series titles. And he says that he doesn't know, that he hasn't had time to evaluate or even think about his future. He said that after Game 7, because I'm down the list as far as I can go. I'm not like that kind of dude. I don't want to steal the spotlight or anything from these guys. You got to savor what they did. Houston, they came back from the brink of all the scandal about spying on the game, etc. Michigan understands that. And you got to think about how they can get better and then evaluate his situation and his life. So, said he'll see. He's 74 years old, just completed his 26th season as a Major League manager. And his 4th with the Houston Astros. Now, he joined Houston in 2020 after former manager A.J. Hinch was suspended for his role in the club stealing signs. And that was a scandal, obviously, down in Texas. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, rumor has it. Now, the Astros went on to the postseason all 4 years under Dusty Baker and won the 2021 AL pennant as well as the 2022 World Series title. In his 26 seasons as a manager, the great Dusty Baker's teams have gone 2,183 wins, 1,862 ties. He won 54% of his games and won 3 pennants, 2002, 2021, and 2022. He is a 3-time Manager of the Year, 1993, 1997, and 2000, and his 2,183 wins are ranked 7th all-time. Dusty Baker managed the San Francisco Giants 1993 to 2002, Chicago Cubs 2003 to 2006, the Cincinnati Reds 2008 to 2013, and the Washington Nationals 2016 to 2017, and now the Houston Astros 2020 to 2023. I want to give that some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. And he gave the ball club a lot to lean on with those broad shoulders and Dusty Baker. Prior to his managerial career, Baker was a terrific player. The former outfielder retired as a .278, .347, and .432 hitter with 242 home runs. In 1981, his part of 19 seasons with the Atlanta Braves, 1968-1975, Los Angeles Dodgers, 1976-1983, and San Francisco Giants, 1984, and the Oakland Athletics, 1985 to 1986. Now, Dusty Baker was also credited with the first ever high five in 1977. He's something else. Think about it. He fell off the baseball Hall of Fame ballot in his first year of eligibility as a player in 1992. He will be eligible as a manager when the Hall of Fame's contemporary baseball era non-players committee meets in 2026. He's a home run of a Hall of Famer as a manager, and especially when you consider his entire baseball career. I just want to give Dusty some praise because he deserved it. He's a good man. First time I met Dusty, it was when he was manager of the San Francisco Giants at the new stadium, Orca Ballpark, in the locker room, and that's the days that Barry Bonds was also hitting home runs. But just seeing how he dealt with people, very down to earth, like a guy that wants to have a sip of wine and to eat some collard greens and some fish. That's what he reminds me of. Maybe that's the guy I'm looking at in the mirror. If that makes sense to you. But I really do wish Dusty Baker the very best. And it's amazing how, when you think about it, not so fast, my friend, as far as retirement, the Astros stood joining Cleveland Guardians, Los Angeles Angels, New York Mets, San Francisco Giants, and possibly the Milwaukee Brewers as teams seeking a new manager in the offseason. Give Dusty some praise. Dusty may just feel like growing his wine and maybe fishing in the hills of Northern California. All fair in love and war. I really do appreciate what the great Dusty Baker has done to the game of baseball. People have their own thoughts about baseball. Is it as good as football? Maybe not. A lot of things are not as good as football. Is it as good as NBA basketball? Maybe not. A lot of things are not as good as NBA basketball. But what I will tell you about this game of Dusty Baker's baseball, he made baseball seem like Dusty's the kind of guy you can sit down and have a libation with. He's also the kind of guy that you can get some good coaching, some good insight to the game. That's what he means to the world of baseball. And I'm just, as a sports podcaster, I'm proud to say that I was able to talk to the man when I got started in this business back with the San Francisco Giants. No matter what he does, I still want to go by and sample some of that wine in Dimner Hills, California. Get that some breeze. Maybe I'll even get a free sip, if that makes sense to you. But Dusty Baker, great manager, just a great person that held the ship right when Houston had so many scandals. It was a great Dusty Baker that went down into Texas. They gave him a chance to turn things around. And Dusty did it. Because if you don't like Dusty Baker, you probably don't like too many people. He's always just a cool, calm character. He loves the game of baseball. Very fortunate to do what he's been able to do over the years and playing Major League Baseball and then managing Major League Baseball. That's times when you look and say he's been blessed. Give being blessed some praise. We all want to be blessed. But I do want to take the time also to talk about reparations, because it's so important to me. It's important to all descendants of chattel slavery that we stand up, the ones who can, and let it be known that we deserve reparations for our country. Black Americans built this country for free. Got nothing to show for it. Nothing. Whatever Black Americans have earned, we have to really try twice as hard, it seems, to get it. Going through the Kerner Commission, going through all the years of Jim Crow, it's just been an upward climb. But we dominate almost everything we're given a chance to do. Isn't that something? Give that some praise. If you want to think about NBA basketball 2023-2024 season, where to stream NBA basketball games, NBA schedules, and more, man, what happened to the days of just watching it on the local TV station, either CBS or NBC? But it's been a minute since the Denver Nuggets brought their first championship title to Denver over the Miami Heat. And then it's time for the 2023-2024 season to start. And this season already appears to be headed in the right direction for the Denver Nuggets. The Joker is going to be another solid year for Nikola Jokic, the Joker. And if you consider that he has Jamal Murray, they're a great 1-2 punch. I know people talk about Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and now Chris Paul with Golden State. With that Murray and Joker combination up in Denver, where your lungs get really hot because it's so high up, that's something you don't want to miss also. But when it comes to watching these games, it's not like it was last year where you can get your rabbit ears out and plug them up to the TV and then you get the game. And then after rabbit ears were out of fat, you had to go get your neighbor's satellite dish and try to aim it so your TV got better reception. And then they got smart and they started putting them on a cable. So now you can't go get your neighbor's cable, but you can spice into it. That's not a good thing to do. But NBA games air nationally across TNT, ESPN, and NBA TV. Games also air on local channels such as Big C Sports Podcast for previews. And the fans who want to follow every game, NBA League Pass is a great way to catch those out-of-market games that are not airing on your regional sports channels. So don't have any of those channels. Here's a chance you can look at and how to find those programs, in my opinion, and I'm taking with it. Sling TV. You got Sling TV. It's called Sling TV Orange Plus Sports Extra. Starting at just $20 for the first month, Sling TV's Orange plan offers TNT, ESPN, plus ESPN2 and ESPN3, along with 28 other channels for NBA TV. You'll also need the 11. I'm telling you, there's an 11 sport extra add-on package. What have happened to the days of free cable? Right now, Sling is offering a deal when you sign up for Sling Orange and NBA League Pass to save $60 by you're going to prepay for 6 months. I think they should add a reparations channel. When they say reparations now, reparations forever. I believe in reparations. If cable companies can keep getting paid, why not focus on using that money to pay out to the descendants of child slavery, if that makes sense to you? If you think about that, it's like $270 to cover all your basketball watching. You can barely get a ticket for $270 in most cities. And then you have the Sling subscription. It includes 50 hours of free DVR storage. So if you're worried about missing any of the NBA action, you can always record your games. And when you record, say reparations now, reparations forever. That's what I want to record. Maybe we'll get our brothers to start singing. So it's not just Big C, if that makes sense to you. Everybody has their own thoughts on how you're going to do this, but it's right there. It's right there looking for us. And I hope that we can get the courage. And why would it take courage to ask for what's yours? You have your receipt. You don't need courage. Just copy the Emancipation Proclamation. We were offered something, and it wasn't given to us when Lincoln was assassinated. He never redacted it, though. Andrew Johnson did, gave it to the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. That's a shame. But I want to bring you up to League Pass. It's the ultimate NBA experience. You take your game to the next level with League Pass Premium. Unlock fewer interruptions, more flexible viewing options, and more optimized features that make League Pass Premium the ultimate NBA experience for the ultimate NBA fan. Get that some breeze. Or you can just follow Big C Sports and get the same thing if that makes sense to you. Got some live games that they're ad-free, and it makes ads a thing of the past. Keep your head in the game at all times, and with an arena of entertainment instead of commercials. And the arena entertainment, you can't make it to a game, feel like you're there with the premium package, watch halftime shows and kiss cams and half-court shots, as well as your favorite in-game experiences, all fair and level one. Then they have simultaneous streaming. If you think about streaming, one good game is good, more is better. Watch live and legendary games highlighted and analysis on up to 3 devices at once. Sounds like a little bit of OCD, if that makes sense to you. That's my opinion. But I love NBA basketball. It's been part of my TV planning for many, many moons now. It's just something that to watch the way athletes get up and down the court. And they're going to start saying this year, reparations now, reparations forever. I know Jaylen Brown will for the Boston Celtics. And I hope that the NBA with David, think about Adam Silver. David Stern did a lot to turn the league around and put in a dress code. People started making more money. Adam Silver, commissioner, and they do a good job in trying to bring communities together. But we really do need someone that's strong on reparations, just like the United Nations, with making sure our Jewish brethren are receiving the Holocaust payments. And we give that praise. We need some of those same brethren to make sure the cynical child slavery get paid. And what better way to do it than have an NBA basketball and have it stamped behind the scoreboard on the out-of-bounds line where it says reparations now, reparations forever. Not now when you already heard us in Big C Sports, and you should do it. We should all do it. It's important. Last night the Lakers fell to the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. They slipped by the Golden State Warriors. So the last 2 defending champions in the NBA, they lost last night, all fair and level. Tonight, October 25th, The Boston Celtics versus the New York Knicks game tips off at 7 o'clock p.m. on ESPN East Coast time. And then the Dallas Mavericks versus San Antonio Spurs, 9:30 p.m. on ESPN, all fair and Leavenworth. So many great games on slate. So many great players that are trying to see if they have what it takes to win a title this year. And I would hope that they can. I want to see real competitive basketball. I also want to take your mind back to the world of football and the African continent. That's so important to me. The African continent, they have their experimental football league. Not well known, not well publicized. Oftentimes, NFL talks about NFL Europe. But 80% of the players don't come from Europe. They don't. They come from Africa. By way of the United States now, obviously. But the NFL has its own league that they open in Africa. It's been so quiet, though. And I hope they can take and champion the cause of reparations now, reparations forever. Not just in football. It's so important. It's so real. Maybe we need to get Senator Marco Rubio and Rick Scott to champion reparations for descendants of child slavery. They're doing it for our Jewish brethren, and we give them praise because the Holocaust lasted way longer than it should have never happened at all. But slavery lasted 1619 to 1865. Hitler was only in power in 1933 to 1945. You do the math. So the NFL from Big C Sports, it hosts its first official events in Africa. I'm telling you, it's called NFL Africa Camp. Launches to discover new talent, NFL Fan Zone, and NFL Flag Touchdown. In Ghana, the NFL will host its first official event. They already have. They're going to do it again next year. They started in Africa, beginning June 21st. In Ghana, they're going to do it again in 2024. And the week of activities is NFL Africa. Give that some praise. That even sounds right. NFL Africa, it just sounds right. It says the touchdowns includes a talent identification camp and then a fan event and a flag football clinic. They're making flag football more popular in California on the high school level so girls can get their groove on too, if that makes sense to you. And then the NFL's commitment to develop more ways to serve its growing fan base across the continent of Africa. With more than 100 players of African descent, born in Africa or first generation born in the United States, the league will highlight the contributions of its African players, introduce the sport to the next generation of fans, and look to activate others in African countries for future NFL growth. I want to give that some praise because it's important. As the league looks on to further identify and develop more talent in Africa, the NFL will host its first NFL Africa Camp featuring 40 players from across America, and they already happened back in June. They're going to do it again for 2024. Really do appreciate that the camp took place already in the month of June, and there's a player, it's led by Osei Omenyiora, NFL legend and two-time Super Bowl winning defensive end with the New York Giants. And it's a truly remarkable initiative, said Omenyiora. The camp is not only giving opportunities to great African athletes, it's also highlighting the incredible African athletes already in the NFL, and the positive impact of this cannot be overstated. Give that some praise. Now, Omenyiora established the Uprise, it's called Uprise, UPRISE, a football program in Nigeria that held national camps in Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa in recent months. Players that stood out were invited to the NFL's upcoming camp, which will be held in Ghana, and they look forward to hosting their first camp in Ghana, and will look to activate Nigeria and other African countries in the future, in the very near future. Give that some praise. Gotta give that some praise. And see, the NFL can go and open up a camp in Africa, and you can even Google it. It's called the Uprise, and then Uprise, UPRISE. It would be great for them to champion reparations because we know it needs to happen. Tremendous wealth was lost by the free labor, but you can change things, you can fix it. I want to even mention this, that events in Ghana continue back in June 25th when the NFL hosted an NFL Flag Day at the Ghana International School in conjunction with the Ghana African or the Ghana American Football Federation. And then it's called the GAFF. Now, students from 10 local schools ages 12 through 14, they participated in NFL Flag. It's a fun and accessible non-contact program. Participants had the opportunity to learn about the fundamentals of current and former NFL players, as well as lessons in teamwork and leadership. I want to give that praise. They're not just shucking and jiving. If only they could start championing reparations now, reparations forever. Maybe we need to get more help from my African brethren in the world that's needed for reparations. I'm just so impressed with this. The NFL Flag Day and NFL Fan Zone, it featured Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders, as well as prizes and giveaways from the team. And then the club's senior vice president of media marketing, like Big C Sports, called Jen Kavanaugh, also was in attendance with the Eagles as the first NFL club to enter a market in Africa, the International HMA Initiative, and can activate in Ghana as of June 1st. Now, I've always thought we could go to Mexico and play in Azteca Stadium. We've been able to go across the pond to Europe and play at Wembley Stadium. And now it's time to land on the continent of Africa and give that some praise too. And not just running away from it. I really do appreciate the fact that the NFL is like the NBA now. They're playing international games and trying to interact with more people to bring more attention to the game. They even tried it with China a few years ago for whatever reason. Had a hitch in his giddy up. But it's gonna take time and collaboration for people to realize that talent is everywhere. The NFL strives to provide a positive impact on local communities, following its events in cities around the world, and details of the project will be announced during the week's events. For the latest information on the NFL in Africa, follow at NFL Africa social media channels on Twitter and Instagram. It's a beautiful thing. When you ask me about it, I want to give that praise. I love being a part of that. I just really do. You can contact Darlene Capirio NFL at 212-450-2175. That's 212-450-2175. And give that some praise. It's a lot to do when you feel like you're doing it by yourself. And I know that NFL Africa is emboldened my heart, and I love talking about that. And I learned that so many people have a dream to become great at something. And hopefully Big C Sports can get that out there even more so than a lot of the mainstream stations that don't talk about it as much, because it is on the African continent. I want to close with today's show, and I wish everybody the best, but when it comes to rankings in college football, some coaches that may be on the hot seat: Tom Allen, Jimbo Fisher, Jim Harbaugh, Sam Pittman, and Brady Hoke, they're rising. Think about that. Everybody has their thoughts. I know Michigan's going through their own issues with Jim Harbaugh. Was he aware of someone trying to tape a game, etc.? But in the land of the hot seat rankings, security rings this season. Over the last 2 seasons, a total of 53 coaching changes have been made. That's almost 40% more of FBS. In the last 3 years, there have been 71 changes. 71 is a lot. 71 changes, and 53% of the FBS, the market just may be exhausted, at least financially, from coach firings. Keep the who you have and try to make them better. I wanna close with this story. In week 9, experiencing a rarity, no college football coaches having been fired for performance. This despite over the last 3 years, a combined 26 coaches have been fired during this season, 18 in 5 Power 5 jobs. That's a lot. We know Mel Tucker, he was fired from Michigan State over some allegations. Northwestern fired Pat Fitzgerald, lost his job after some allegations there. And there's more that went on. Tom Allen would be owed a combined $36 million in a buyout from Arkansas. I mean, everybody has their own thoughts. There's a lot of stuff going on in sports. It's a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to that billion-dollar industry. Give that some praise. I'm telling you, I'm feeling so good. So good. But I gotta tell you, it's my story and I'm sticking with it. If you're gonna drink, don't drive. If you're gonna drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can drink it off. But don't get behind the wheel of a car if you've been drinking. The life you save may be your own or somebody that you love. And that's a good story. I want to give that some praise. Well, you know what time it is. As I always tell you, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. And he would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. Because listen to the Big C Sports talk about reparations now, reparations forever. They get so excited that I feel like dancing, if that makes sense to you. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. My beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. So as I tell you, if you call 911, things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. And now you know what time it is. I always pay homage to President Abraham Lincoln because it's so important when he said, reparations now, reparations forever. I'm going to say it like the team just won the game. I say reparations now, reparations forever. Now I'm going to say it like your team just won the championship of the universe. I want to say reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.